That you're seeing are coming in from Abonima River State. It's amateur photography, as you can see there. We have not, Channels Television has not independently verified the visuals that you're seeing in, but you can see gunshots and people running and scampering over there. This was sent in to us from one of our citizens journalists, as we did call for images of what is happening around the country. As we said before, we cannot, as Channels Television, independently verify what you can see on your screen at the moment, but it was sent in to us from the Abonima area of River State, coming in the aftermath of the elections that were meant to hold there. And we have another another set of images coming in, this time from Ibadan in Oyo State. If we can have those pictures, there we are. Coming in from Ibadan, Oyo State, showing what was meant to be the election today. And let's listen in and just hear what's going on in this place. You can see somebody looking a bit distraught there. And let's listen in.
After they finished the election, the voting, the counting was about to start when some of these boys came. They started shooting. So they ordered everybody at the police. Some people have escaped. Those they met there, they ordered us to stay in one side when they took away all the ballot paper. So when some people discovered that these people, they are not many, those boys around started throwing stones. So that was when they returned and started shooting at people. So initially they were shooting to the air. So when they were chasing, they started shooting at them. That was when they hit one of the boys there and other guys that were injured.
Actually, we've been counting votes because everybody has casted their vote. So that is, we were counting senatorial vote. So I just start hearing gunshots. So that's why everybody just left.
Images and visuals there coming in not only from Abonima River State, but also from Ibadan in Oyo State. Now, here in Lagos, we understand that the Commissioner of Police has reacted to the reports of violence right here in the state. Let's listen to what he has to say.
The elections process starts very well. I started from Ikeja, right from the rack centers, where materials have been distributed to various polling units. Everything was orderly, except some few delay in some rack centers due to logistics. Vehicles coming to pack materials came a little bit late, but everything went on well. As at the time I was leaving Ikeja, all the polling units were already voting. From Ikeja, we moved into Mushin area. Everything was calm and peaceful, and voting was going on very well. Then from Mushin, we moved to Ikorodu. From Ikorodu, we went to Ekpe, and now we are here in Lekki. So far, so good. Everywhere we went, election was going on very well, smoothly.
Security-wise?
Well secured in most of the places we have gone to. We have not gone to all the parts of Lagos, but from reports I'm having, everywhere is okay. We had information that there was an issue in Agbo Palace Way, in Okota, that some people were being intimidated and they're not allowed to vote. I immediately called the area commander who moved in there, and things are going on well there. Then we had some few issues in Shomolu. We had some few arrests. Some boys were trying to stop the process, being unruly. 9 of them were arrested, and they're being investigated. Otherwise, all is well.
And reactions there coming in from all across the country, where we have our correspondents keeping a close eye on every state and every unit where elections happen today. Keep your eyes and ears glued to us here, the nation's news leader, Channels Television. I'm going to get you, Mr. Worry, to react to everything you've seen now.
Okay. First Rivers, then Oyo, and then now the CP in Lagos, the Agbo Kota Palace Way incident. He says that's been resolved and everything is okay then.
How it has been resolved, if bringing order to the place is one thing, but restoring or enabling the people to vote or replacing the burnt votes is quite another, which I guess is INEC's responsibility. But if you consider, the possible scale of violence, such as we've seen in the past, 2007 was a case in point, it seems to be relatively calm. I mean, one polling booth in Ibadan, some reports in Lagos, Abonema, which we haven't confirmed. For me, it's a containable thing. I'm more concerned about just the conduct of the elections themselves and the delays and the disruptions, etc. But the violence, I think that I was worried when I saw the military, because I always feel they're not necessary in elections. I think that's an extreme, because the message you're sending is that, we expect such a level of violence that we need to call in the military.
But some people will say, well, what we've seen right now,
no,
perhaps.
What have we seen? What have we seen? It's all containable. It's nothing extraordinary. It's not like a bomb went off. There are countries in Brazil where they blow up, what do you call it?
Is it INEC's processes that are inciting the violence?
Sometimes I've told you, delay encourages intervention. If you are not efficient and people are milling around and waiting for or starting late, it encourages people to come and disrupt the system.
Okay, but
efficiency is key.
What we had from the footage we got in Ibadan, for instance, where
they said people were attacked.
Testifying, they were doing their counting.
Yes,
and then those other guys.
There will be isolated incidents. Yes, and encouraged by whoever would like to. But I don't think that defines the whole process.
But when the incidents are all over, just like when we're listening to the INEC National Commissioner early in the morning, about 9 o'clock, he said, these are isolated. But see, they're coming in from a lot of
I agree,
places.
but what I'm saying is that they're not overwhelming. They have not, for instance, aborted the electoral process. Yes, there'll be a few incidents, so you see, like I said, this narrative of violence, which we have, happily, I think it's too much. I think we create the impression that we can't have peaceful elections. So ultimately, for instance, for me is sort of an overkill.
Professor Dinkalu, let me come to you in Abuja. Now, Abonema, which, as Mr. Athawari pointed out, we haven't been able to confirm if those visuals actually represent what happened. We have confirmed that something happened from the Nigerian army. They confirmed that. But then you have the Oyo State incident, and then you have the CP in Lagos reacting to the Agor Okota Palace way that order has been restored there. Again, your immediate reaction to all this, as we are getting the reports, as the day has gone by, we're getting more and more reports from different places.
We need a sense by the end of the day. I think, these things will have to be clustered and they aggregated, and then the fuller picture will emerge. At the moment, whether they're isolated or whether there's a pattern to them, you never know. I don't want, it's like Nigerians see you and they say you are happily married. They don't know the state of your marriage. They don't have any information, but once you're married, you're happily married. It's the same thing. We are sitting down here talking about isolated incidents or non-isolated incidents. Nobody has a clue. All the polling units in the country are geolocated, okay? That means that you can actually locate them with GPS. It also means you can plot them, therefore, on the 923,000 square kilometers of Nigeria. And therefore, if you're having incidents, the thing to do is to plunk all of that down the map. It is possible, and each one of them will be a dot. Nothing more than that. On its own, each dot is isolated. However, it is well possible that when you begin to read all those dots, there could be more meaning to them. I'll just tell you what we've heard here today while we've been on this set. Sabongeri in Kano reports problems. Sabongeri in Nasarawa State reports problems. Agbo Palace Way in Lagos reports problems. Surulere in Lagos reports Urekbe. What connects all of these dots on a map? They belong to particular settlements from particular parts of the country. Now, that becomes something that gives you intelligence. You have engrafted analytics onto it. Therefore, I think we've got to be careful about this narrative of isolated incidents. It is well possible that they are isolated. It is also quite possible that there are patterns. Let us exercise active curiosity. I don't like this thing of isolated incidents or non-isolated incidents. Can we follow the facts and allow them to lead us where they may lead us? And let's not be afraid of those facts. I do agree with what Mr. Thowori has said, which is what? If we have the determination and the will, we will get to the bottom of this. But let's not prejudge facts. Let's allow the evidence to lead us to conclusions rather than conclusions to lead us to evidence.
Okay. Now, Mr. Wagu, speaking of evidence leading us to conclusions or conclusions leading us to evidence, it is obvious now that the elections did not take place everywhere today. Yes. They did not start at the same time everywhere today, and the inference is that they won't end everywhere at the same time. Looking ahead to tomorrow now, because today is fast spent, looking ahead to tomorrow, in the areas where it may become possible for elections to need to take place, either having been postponed from today or because they didn't take place at all, for example, like a place like Bonny. Yes. What do you expect to see in such places tomorrow?
Okay. I expect to see a lot more coordination. I expect to see a lot more order. I expect that the INEC officials, the ad hoc staff, will get there on time. I expect before then that word will go out adequately to the people that haven't voted so that nobody is disenfranchised again. You know, so I expect those things to come into play on time. And I expect that tomorrow, if everything is put in place, by 11, 12 o'clock of the day, they don't need to wait till 2 o'clock. All the election will be done, all the voting will be done, and, you know, we can start counting the results.
Nyata, you were trying to say something?
Yeah, I was saying the narrative that needs to change. There's this, I mean, Sotowari, you talked about the narrative of violence. Let me bring it to you, Mr. Azogu. The narrative that needs to change. The ethnic, religious conversations that need to change when we come to election processes every 4 years. And the truth is that you find out that this happens like every 4 years. That's when this sort of conversations seem to come up on the front burner. How, at what point do we need to clear from that and move on to look at the nation?
We need to start doing a lot of mindset change very early. We need to start educating even from our children. Our children that are 14 years old, they'll be ready to vote in the next 4 years. Children that are 17, I have one of my children that turned 18 in October. He couldn't vote, so he'll be ready to vote then. So we need to start now to tell them that it is Nigeria. It's one Nigeria. We are ethnocentric. We have the advantage of globalization within one country. We need to start looking at ourselves as a whole. We need to start looking at ourselves as, you know, fingers on the same hand, that if one is hurt, the others will be hurt. We need to start speaking out now. We need to start eliminating all those religious, ethnic, class, and issues that we have right now. And the only way we can do that is actually through education, through training, through sensitization, you know, through opening up our hearts. We need to get the right leaders in place to make things change. It's enough of it's mine, it's not mine, it's my turn, it's not my turn. Yes, we have gotten it wrong. The older generation are still in power, trying to do one or two things. Let's get the youths in and let's educate the upcoming youths to know this. Thank you.
All right, we're just getting unconfirmed reports, and we can't emphasize that enough. Unconfirmed reports out of Bayelsa that the photographer of the Bayelsa state governor has been shot dead, allegedly by men of the Joint Task Force in the state. The details of it are still sketchy about how that happened, if indeed that happened. We're trying to get confirmation of that.
But let's listen to the governor. I think he has something to say about that. Let's listen to the governor now.
Very sad reports about
terrible acts of violence, terrorism, and brigandage perpetrated by Timipri Silva and Kojo in Basambri, where at least one person has been confirmed dead, where people's PDP leaders have been attacked, and people are running helter-skelter for their lives, even as we speak. There are several injuries in Basambri, and the soldiers are participating in it. Those who are paid, whose duty it is to protect our people, are participants in it, or at the very best, are lukewarm, and they decide to look aside while terrible things happen. It's very sad. I believe that the military authorities, the security authorities will know what to do. We would like to investigate this and know who has given the orders under which they claim to be acting.
The governor of Bayelsa State, Seriake Dixon, will be trying to reach those he mentioned in that piece there, for their own reactions to the allegations that he made about. But no doubt that there has been violence in Bayelsa State. That's essentially what Governor Dixon is saying. Now, as we're winding this segment down, we have less than 5 minutes to go. I'm going to come to you, Mr. Nwangu, of Yaga in Abuja. And as a way of winding this down, given what you've just heard yet again, this time in Bayelsa, we've heard from Oyo, we've heard, no one is trying to construct a narrative of violence, but these are the reports we're getting from our correspondents on ground and from various citizen journalists who are sending this in. When we get those, we say that they are unconfirmed, we seek to verify them. But do you see a situation where these may peter out as the day runs out and then we go into tomorrow? Is there hope for a better tomorrow for those areas where this election will take place tomorrow?
Well, I think that it just brings us to the question of the Interagency Consultative Committee on Election Security and its relevance at this particular time. If there has been that effective coordination and understanding also that the Electoral Act 2015 domiciled the leadership of election security in the domain of INEC, my sense is that the INEC leadership will have to immediately engage and bring to forward this Interagency Consultative Committee on Election Security and dish out clear instructions and ensure that some of the things that we're hearing do not reoccur. For tomorrow, I think that we will have lesser areas to pay attention to. And once we have lesser areas to pay attention to, it is easier for people to behave themselves much better than because of the large specter of area of attention that we have to pay. I think that things will go a little bit much better tomorrow. But going forward, we also now have to look at the political economy of election security, the deployment, who interrogates it. We oversight INEC. And I said here last week when I was on set that we are paying a lot of attention to INEC, but we are not paying commensurate attention to other stakeholders in the electoral process whose contribution will also, impact on electoral integrity. And I meant that we didn't pay attention to security agents. We didn't call them out. We didn't want to know their plans. We wanted to know everything INEC was doing, but we didn't bother to find out whether the police were leading, were going to give us the kind of provisioning for security that we expected. We know that Army set up a situation room. We didn't ask why. What are they going to be doing with that? Are they going to be responding? Will it be transparent? Will it be open for citizens to engage with them? Some of those questions that we didn't ask are some of the things we are contending with right now.
Okay, so at this point, we're going to want to thank our guests very much for joining us. This has been the most lively section. Let me start with Ifeoma Azogo, the lady, the human capital development expert in our Abuja studios, alongside Mr. Ezenwa Wagu, who just finished speaking, and Professor Chidi Odinkalu. And here in Lagos, Mr. Fola Arthur-Wari, who has been with us right from the very beginning of the segment. It's been our pleasure to host you. The verdict will take a break at this point in time to bring you the news and then poll stream, and then we'll be back.